Hi, boys and girls. It's Thursday, and we're continuing to study about empires. And we're getting into the major empires and how they emerged and how they came about. That's chapter 4. And so far, we've just been setting it up. And let's just go back all the way to remembering the first era when we were talking about humans who were living in small groups. They were hunters and gatherers, they moved around. They went after their food. They had to be kind of jacks of all trades. They had to make their own clothes. They had to make the fires. They had to find the food. They had to nurse themselves back to health. They had to do all of these things. Then we started figuring out as humans that we could grow crops at a certain time, harvest them at a certain time, keep them good through a whole year. And so we didn't have to walk around and find all of our food all the time. And so we started living in small groups, bigger groups together, but still small, and villages and towns. Then we got into these big cities. We're talking about how these cities had a lot of people per square foot and how they were developing into larger developments of people living together. We had civilizations which were bigger, even maybe a couple of those towns together, and now we're on to empires. And empires, we talked about how it's like when we control all of the 7th grade, 6th grade, and 8th grade hallways, and how we're this big, huge area, and we see it on the geohistogram. On Monday, we'll take a look at the geohistogram, and we'll see how these empires have spreading land masses and how they take over more and more area, and that means more and more people. And so empires are becoming big pieces of land with lots of people and lots of development and technologies, which you guys studied in your projects. Okay, with that, in the section 5, you guys went around and did the Kahoot. Thank you for doing that and participating and making sure to keep an inside voice and all of that good stuff. So thank you for that. But one of the things we wanted to remind you of is that when an emperor goes to try and conquer a different civilization or empire or whatever it is, whatever name you want to give that, he or she may or may not be successful. So, for example, an emperor, if I was the emperor and I wanted to conquer the 6th grade, and I rally my troops, I get my army together, and I'm going to head down to the 6th grade to conquer them. Now, it takes a lot of money, effort, and energy, right? I have to coordinate all that. I have to supply my people with food. They need to have some kind of armor, right? They need weapons. They need a transportation method, horses, whatever they're going to use, right? They need all of these things. And we go to 6th grade and we wage a battle and people get injured. Many people maybe get killed, hurt, whatever. And I am unsuccessful. I do not manage to take over the 6th grade. They hold me off. Now I've got to return back to the 7th grade hallway and I have to do what? What happens at that point? As the emperor, what do I do? Well, I've just spent a bunch of money to not be able to take over the area I was planning on. I was going to use the 6th graders as slaves, and I was going to take all the resources they have down there, their food and their maybe some metals that they have available. Maybe they're good at making pottery. I was going to use all of that in my empire, and now I can't. I'm not going to be able to reap the benefits. And I have these expenses. I spent all that money on their armor, on their weapons. I have now my army maybe is cut down by a third. I have all these deaths to deal with and injuries. So maybe the emperor says, well, I better raise taxes in the empire I have now. I'm just going to go to my civilians, my people, and say, I need more money. I need to build up my army again so I can go try and maybe attack the 8th grade. See how that goes, or re-attack the 6th grade. Well, how would you feel if you were a citizen? So these are the questions we asked you about on Wednesday, and they're to ponder. Perhaps you'd be okay as a citizen to say, yes, we need more land, I'll give you more money. Or maybe you'd be upset. You don't have a good leader, you couldn't even take over the 6th grade. So there'd be different reactions, but you could imagine that after a while, the people in the empire wouldn't take kindly to having their taxes raised continuously, especially if they weren't winning the battles or if they weren't protecting the empire appropriately. So just kind of thinking about that and what position that puts the emperor, and then eventually, what do you think the people are going to do to an emperor who doesn't protect them or spends their money? It is likely that he is going to maybe be taken over, assassinated, maybe something along those lines, at the very least ousted in some kind of a way. So we're thinking about that. And we also mentioned that if we overtake the 6th grade, we would use them possibly as slaves. Now, certainly not every emperor did that. We'll talk about that with Persia for sure. But a lot of emperors are like, oh, awesome. I have all these slaves now. I've got more people for my army. I've got more farmers. I've got more people to do the grunt work that we don't like to do. Slaves have been a part of people and civilizations for as far back as we can tell. So when we started living in larger groups, there became that social hierarchy, and there are slaves at the bottom. And it's no different in these empires. As a matter of fact, it's pretty pronounced in these empires. So all civilizations that we can know and see, for the most part, I shouldn't say all, it's too encompassing a word, but very many, most, had slaves of some sort doing the work that nobody else wanted to do at the bottom of that social pyramid. So today, boys and girls, with all the information that you've been learning, sections 1 through 5, you're going to get ready for a quiz tomorrow. Oh no, a quiz tomorrow? No. Yes, because you're ready for it. You can do it. You can take the quiz and you're going to be great. And how do I know it? Well, you've been studying all along and doing what Miss Richards and I have asked you. Plus, today you're going to study. So you are going to study by taking a Kahoot. So you can see it on the thing here. While you're taking the Kahoot, it's not a fast Kahoot. You're not zipping through it. Click the next one, click the next one. Who won? No, this is a slow-paced Kahoot. You are going to be taking notes. You'll need a piece of paper and a writing utensil, and you're going to write things down. You're going to take down things that you don't know, that you're not sure about, that you don't understand, that you don't want to forget. You're going to ask your teachers, please pause the Kahoot for a minute. Don't click next yet. I want to write this down. Then you're going to have that piece of paper for your study guide tonight and then your quiz tomorrow. You cannot use your notes on the quiz, but you'll be ready anyway, so it won't matter. You'll study today and then tonight and then be ready for your quiz on Friday. So that is your objective today, to get ready for the quiz. If you want to play the Kahoot twice, that is totally up to your teacher. It's just an idea. But the first time for sure is slow paced, and you are going to go ahead and write down things that you will need to know to study. Okay, the other thing that you need to know is that we're going to be getting into some little bit of like mini projects and note taking and information, because we are going to study those major empires. We're going to be looking at Greece and Rome and Han and Persia. So we need a place to keep all this information. So please get your social studies folder back out. It might be a little dusty, might be a little torn up in the backpack. I'm not sure where your social studies folder is right now. You might not be sure where your social studies folder is right now. If you need a new one, perhaps this weekend you can grab them with your parents or whoever you shop with. Grab another folder, but you're going to need some kind of an organizing mechanism for the papers you're going to be getting starting on Monday. So please make sure you have a folder ready to go that is dedicated to social studies starting Monday. And just looking, tomorrow's your quiz, your question reflection is due tomorrow. And I think that's about it, because we're going to be able to summarize and describe what makes an empire today and tomorrow. Okay, boys and girls, have a great time with the Kahoot. Remember to take notes, please, and I'll see you back on Friday or Monday. Have a great time.